most of us have very fond memories of our teachers, or at least one or two special teachers, those who've made a big difference to our lives. Yet, there are many who feel that teaching is undervalued in India today. Why is that? That's what we're going to look at today on Teachers' Day. We are at Kamala Nehru with a bunch of very bright students, all of them with strong views on this and a whole lot more. Let's get talking to them right away. In your sort of circle around you, do you sort of feel that there is, and not just here in college, but outside as well amongst your peers, do you sense that people are reluctant to take up teaching of your generation unless they believe that there is no other choice?
It's the time of entrepreneurship. Everybody wants to take up a job and actually be settled and get a good salary. At such a venue, yes, teaching is not recognized so to be such a valuable option, but there are a few who want to take up the opportunity and they really want to shape the future of the country.
And they will perhaps, and it's so ironic that there are all those youngsters out there who perhaps don't give it the kind of value when, we are nothing without our teachers. Wouldn't you agree?
Definitely. I have been influenced by so many teachers, and the kind of experience you get from your teachers, it's not possible anywhere else. So I think the fact that they're undervalued is very sad.
Yeah, that is true, and we're hoping that your generation will change a lot of that. But what, according to you, is sort of, the most important contribution a teacher can make?
I think that there goes this saying that a teacher is like a candle. Like a candle consumes itself to light the path for others. So I guess a teacher is a moral guide for a student. He or she molds the student, and we say that children are the future. So they mold the future, the society at large. And I believe that a very strong point here is that students don't feel the need to have a teacher anymore, because when we enter the classrooms, we have that know-it-all attitude. We seem to believe that we know everything.
And now technology, there's also all the technology and how, right. We have Google, we have Wikipedia, and we believe that they can be a substitute, but they can't really, can they?
Building on this point, there is the entire culture of consumerism that does not look at teachers as givers of knowledge anymore, but as people that you're paying and expecting a certain kind of service from. So there's the whole devaluing of a teacher as a source of knowledge. I think that's
a very important
issue.
point, sort of, like the devaluing of the teacher, of all the skills that the teacher can bring. Can you just pass that mic at the back?
Also, I think it's like basically teachers are considered to be very, it's a very ungrateful profession, so to speak. Like, you don't consider them that big a deal in your life. Like, they are just teachers, but they do work a lot. They work, in fact, double the work that you do. So instead, like, they have to go home and they prepare the material that you have to study the next day. So they're actually doing double the homework that they're giving you. So it's actually...
You're absolutely right.
It's very ungrateful.
Unfortunately, many have now begun feeling that teaching has become a thankless profession.
Yeah, it's very
thankless. But, like the points that you're making, your teachers should most definitely hear that.
I think we've had a very science-oriented culture, which is good. So you value doctors and you value engineers, but that's all you value then. And you ultimately, all jobs that refer to humanities are undervalued, be it teaching, be it, say, somehow entrepreneurship is also, now it's begun to be valued a lot, but I guess that is why teachers are also very undervalued when it comes.
Nowadays, we even see the teachers maybe work more than a CEO, but what they're paid is like nothing they get in hand. They work like dogs and donkeys, but they hardly get anything in their hand. And handling a class of
6 pay commission, all of that, rectify that, but you're saying there's still a long way to go.
Yeah, there's still a long way to go. The pay is not enough for a teacher to survive. The teacher has such a big responsibility on his or her head, and then this is not the way. The way the society is undervaluing the teacher.
But I would also like to say that now I think the role of the teacher is transforming. First it was, I think, just to give knowledge and to communicate what the books say, but at least in a college level and not too sure on a school level. Now they actually conduct debates. So I think the good thing that is happening is that now the point of view is shifting from just knowledge to perspective. So everyone's point of view is counted.
Right, and a lot more interaction now. I guess it's really a two-way communication in classrooms. Perhaps very, very rapidly.
Adding on to what she just said, I think now it's, sometimes what happens is that you have like these flaws and you have like these certain, especially like academically. So So I think teachers contribute a lot, you know, by telling you that, okay, look, these are your shortcomings and these are your strong points, so work on them. Which I think parents, I don't think as such they are able to do that, because naturally they have like a biased opinion towards us. So naturally. So I think
can't really blame the parents, but yes, very
true.
candidly put. We'll just pass this at the back, please.
People generally go for highly paid jobs and they reject this profession, and then they expect that we should get a good teacher. There's lack of good teachers and all. So with this changing arena of education system and all, we really need good people switching to this job.
And we just get the mic on at the back, please.
And yeah, there's also undercurrent going on that, you know, the youngsters thought that it's a very traditional profession, and now they want to do things that are out of box thinking, and also the profession. So there's also that thing. But you know, the professors especially, they are very cooperative, and they're very you know, integrative towards their work. It's very important. The technology won't teach you that. I mean, they also lend a personal touch to that.
Also someone who's sort of encouraging us to try out all these out-of-the-box ideas and careers and professions are perhaps our teachers, you know, and then they get sort of left behind.
And what I feel, it depends on the perspective of the students as well. How do they perceive the teachers? If it's only subject proficiency, then I think that if a person doesn't like some subject, he may not like the teacher too. But when the teacher becomes a coach and it's more interactive session with the teacher, and he or she tells you how to carry on your life and teach you something apart from the subject, then people like the teacher and they try to imitate him or her, and they take up the profession then. So the teachers also have to put in efforts to, you know, be more interactive with the students, so that they're not hesitant
so you're saying
to
the
have.
teacher basically must meet the students halfway also. You
Yeah,
must sort of bring out that kind of sort
the
of
more
curiosity
interactive
or
teacher-student
desire
relationship.
to learn
Exactly.
amongst the students. I just want to like stop for a second and ask you, would you by a raise of sort of raise your hands to answer this? How many of you want to take up teaching as a career? That's a, well, clearly a minority, but still a fairly reasonable number, I have to say. We are, after all, a small group. Who raised their hands here in the front row? I just want to, okay, carry on. What is the reason that you want to do this?
No, I don't want to do teaching. I raise my hand to say something, to make a contribution. Okay. So yeah, I just want to say that definitely there is, you know, some sort of let go of the sacrosanct quality of a teacher. But I think still, as you know, people who inspire us greatly, they'll always be there. I mean, being in college, you know, the most fond memories of my classroom have been of teachers who've encouraged me and who've told me that, you know, you have this potential, you can do this and that. So I think that will always be there.
Right. I'll just take that mic. Who talked about wanting to be a teacher here in the front row? You did. I want to ask you, my question is a little different. What do the people at home say when you sort of say this?
Yeah, I was going to talk about that, because when I see myself as a teacher, then I want to be a teacher who makes, because I've seen teachers, they've made changes in my life, life-changing things they've introduced me to. And I've seen that, you know, students go back to teachers and they tell them that, you know, you've just changed my life. And that's an amazing feeling to get, that you have helped someone so much and to get where they reach, and you've basically turned coal into diamond. That's what teachers do for us. But it's really sad that, you know, when you talk about it as a profession among your peers or your family, they think that it's a very regressive kind of profession.
Perhaps why this?
Yeah, why this? It's seen as a last option, and also like something that, you know, you don't get much money for, and it's very repetitive and stagnant. That's what the argument is.
Perhaps you need to convince people at home. We're running out of time, but I'll try and give you the last
I actually contradict that, because I actually feel that in a society like ours, our parents, I mean the mothers especially, they think that a person, if a girl for instance takes up a teaching profession, it's actually considered to be a good choice, because you know, you get to come home, easy hours, you get to take care of your own family. So they kind of appreciate it. Yeah, there may be some parents, like as a general view, it's changing nowadays, but I don't think parents in general have an issue with it. So
right, so I guess it just takes also, but I'm afraid I'm completely out of time. But of course, heard your views on teachers, and despite the fact that we believe that unfortunately they are undervalued, there is clearly a desire to see that change, and perhaps the change will come from students like you. Thanks all so much for taking our time to speak to us. Thank you very much.